Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Northern BC Gamer. We're a group of gamers doing a playthrough of Paizo's Starfinder adventure path, Drift Crashers. Tonight's episode picks up with the Drifters once more in control of the Primarata and their alternate universe twins incapacitated while the band learns of their dark intentions. Unfortunately, due to unavoidable changes in his work schedule, Zane will no longer be able to play the character of Strange Ed, but we have managed to find a replacement who's joining us for tonight's session. He's just running a little behind. As we're just starting out, if you enjoy our content, consider sharing our videos to get more eyes and ears on the Starfinder universe and the adventures of the Drifters. Any comments or questions made on our videos will be read and, if I have the time, responded to. I appreciate any constructive feedback we get. If you enjoy this kind of content, please give this video a like and follow the channel to continue enjoying the adventures of the band. That done, it's almost time to dive into tonight's session. But before we begin, we'll go around the table and introduce ourselves. My name is Darren, and I'm the game master of this motley crew. Around our table, we have the Drifters. Playing Crumb, the Fire Orange Skittermander audio lighting and pyrotechnician, we have the other Darren.
Yeah, playing an old grizzled Skittermander. Just finished defeating my evil doppelganger, Greasy clone. Picked up a neat little grenade launcher.
Next, in the role of the famous halfling drummer Damien Flair Fast Hands, Todd is unfortunately on vacation with his family. Well, unfortunately for us. Fortunately for Todd. He, the wife, and the kids are off enjoying some spring vacation. Next, shredding it up on lead guitar as the Kyle Umbra, we have Catherine.
Hello.
On loan from the Planning Phase Syndicate X-Wing podcast, we have JJ playing Achilles Troy, the human cyborg, on keyboards.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good to be back.
And last but not least, joining the group in the role of Strange Ed Jankowitz, the band's songwriter, we will have Jonas, as soon as he can manage to pop in on us tonight. He's running a little behind. Now, let's dive into the action. So, Rick slurred as Navra's injection began undoing the effects of Edwina's insanity extract. They was gonna sell us some lab? A facility that researches alternate realities, such as where we are from, Nefia confirmed from where she stood hovering close in Umbra's orbit. Some guy, Vix, looks like he's offering a good price, Flair continued reading through their twins' logs. Says here they're supposed to bring in the specimens post-haste. Knights of Golarion, though. Can't be all bad, right? He asks, turning to get input from the rest of the band from where they gather in the lounge. He looks around at the group of you, all a little bit frazzled still from the encounter.
A minor inconvenience, I am sure.
So, how do we want to do this? I mean, we got them all tied up. We just gonna to bring them there and hope they get it right? I mean, hope they fall for it?
As long as they haven't met face to face, I imagine we could.
Yeah, I agree.
Bringing them there sounds like a unnecessary compounding of our problems.
Well, we're supposed to show up with specimens. Now, I mean, he didn't specifically say exactly who the specimens was, but the implication is that they're people, not things. So, I don't know. What's the plan now?
What kind of specimens exactly?
Well, these guys told these Knights of Golarion at Arazni, this Arceel Vix guy, that they captured some specimens what had transited into the system after the drift crashed. And they're offering a hefty price. Where was it here? Give me a sec. Where was it? He scrolls back up through the data pad. And, oh, here it is. Here's the one where they were talking about the price. Oh, give me a second here. 8 grand.
Maybe
8 large.
maybe meet with them and deliver our other selves as a decoy to try to get more information and see what other specimens they found.
I'm not here to sell others into bondage.
It's not selling them, it's just getting our foot in the door.
Yeah, we're just arriving in this alternate place with the money in our pockets. We might need some scratch later on.
I mean, I'm not big on selling people into slavery either. I mean, but this world don't seem like
That's
it's
your
quite so friendly as us.
Well, that's no reason to lower our
bringing.
standards.
Fair, fair.
No, it's delivering them unconscious with the pretext of delivering them just so we can get more information out of the people that are collecting them, and then we can still recover our other selves.
That's a lot of presumptions.
Says here that we're gonna need proof that the quantum signatures are alien to our reality, whatever that means.
If this facility has information that we need, I suggest we just break in and get the information.
It is a large station.
Oh, we find I was gonna say how we're gonna find where exactly where to go without getting it from the people who are asking for it.
Well, we have their ship's data. We should have information on the station and where their contact is.
Okay.
You folks can very quickly pull up that information. Their contact
That was it.
is RCL Vix, who is the person in charge of the quantum portal project. And the station in particular is Arazni Station. It is a 14-level space station comprised of a primary tower and 2 flanking auxiliary towers. They're all connected by enclosed corridors at various levels. Each has its own elevator. And mounted above the primary tower is a large interdimensional portal that they are experimenting with. Hangar Bay is at the base of the primary tower, and it is run by the Knights of Golarion.
What do we know about these Knights of Golarion, at least from our universe? Who are they?
The Knights of Golarion are an order of knights hearkening back to the days before the gap. They're an order of knights that, as far as they understand, their heritage extends right back to Golarion from before it disappeared. And their goal is, in your universe, is to figure out where Golarion went and bring it back.
I think we should investigate further then, or at least get to go to the station. If they're experimenting with portal tech, we should see if they can get us back to ours.
We'll have to do it stealthily, as we don't know their full defensive capability.
These
Yeah,
knights
that
control the
sounds-
entire station?
From the information, yeah, they're the ones running it. Looks like it's floating over Eox. Neffia nods. She says, "Yes, it's a fortified station. Wasn't run by the Knights of Golarion in our universe. Silvix was still in charge. Not a Knight of Golarion. He is a Vesk scientist."
Those are two words you never think you'd hear, Vescan scientist.
Hey, watch what you saying, man. Reptile
They
says,
designed
leaning
spaceships
across the
somehow.
table. Not every Vesk is a pugilist.
They did achieve space flight on their own, after all. They're fully capable.
Rick nods a little bit too emphatically. Says, "Dude, we play video games, man. We fix shit." Bob hops himself up onto or climbs himself up onto the console to look at the screen. He says, "Well, I don't know about sneaking in. What's the plan if we're not going to take these guys? I mean, the hangar bay looks about the only way in. We're not going to be too sneaky if we're taking it right in."
Do we take their ship in, do you think?
Well, then, if we're going to be going in and trying to persuade them that these individuals are what they actually want, we're better off. My big concern is we already have this other problem with the station. We don't want to bring this additional problem with us. So, alternatively, half of us compose as them and the other half composes us. And we can take ourselves in.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they haven't filed a report. We could send a message saying they took part of our group, but we managed to get some.
Yeah, I mean, raiding another ship isn't always easy. You know, could have been some deaths in the process and whatnot.
Sounds par
So
for the
it's-
course from what I've been looking at on the infosphere in this side of the Pact Worlds. It's a little dark and gritty out there.
Indeed.
Turns himself around, says, "Well, I'm too little to be useful. Which of you guys are going to be the prisoners?"
Imagine I can just blend in as a prisoner. I can hide my grenades and weapons in my custom rig.
I
Same
suspect
here.
our.
I should be
Mhm.
able to hide something with my cybernetic enhancement. So I should be able to um, respond with no issues.
Oh, I was looking at that guy's arm that you took down. You know that gauntlet he's got? It's spring loaded. I have never seen anything like it in our side of the universe. The technology is brilliant. I could probably manage to port that over to your arm. I mean, it's pretty big and ponderous. You only get, hard, solid haymaker blows with it, but yes, you could sneak it in.
Do it.
All right. It'll take me some time, but it looks like it's going to take us a few days to get there, so we'll have time to do that.
So we have enough time to get
Okay.
like a full rest and get our resolve points and stuff back.
Oh yeah, it's going to take you days. One moment, and I will tell you how many days.
Hmm. Up to 16 stamina and 14 HP.
7 days, so
Still,
it's going to take a whole week. But yes, you guys will be able to recover your stamina. Okay, are we taking both ships? Are we taking just their ship? What's the plan?
I just take their ship and leave our ship
yeah,
in reserve.
our ship will draw a little too much attention.
Not really. They were trying to steal our ship anyways. They would have taken ours. We should just use our ship.
I mean, Z here knows how to fly her. Zev can help. Well, I don't know about Cobalt. I mean, he's a little off, don't you think? I mean, the music was brilliant. Oh my god! But I don't know if we want him in charge. I mean, who's going to leave in charge of the ship? We can't go into this thinking with a reptile just jump on stage. Come on, we got to have a plan. We're into espionage now. Right?
That's not exactly my spare expertise. I'm a pyrotechnic mechanic.
I have some experience in these kind of things, but
All right, now we're
you're right.
talking.
We can't go into it without a solid plan, though. Otherwise, we put ourselves in a greater danger.
We got numbers on our side. We got lots of us. Not only that, we've got extra lots. We've got the medic and the mechanic and the pirate captain and his first officer and all of us. We got numbers. I mean, not as many as they've got. Mine, but
It'd be best to keep them as a reserve rather than bring them up front. After all, the Golarions don't know them. If we can go in and maybe open the door for them to come and reinforce us later, that would probably work.
I'm game with whatever. As long as it gets us paid or gets more information on this world.
Z kind of sits and peers at the display a little bit. She says, "Well, there's a catwalk up to from from one of the top levels that goes out to the base of the portal. And it looks like we're going to have to fly a ship through it, so if you guys take their ship in, we can meet you there, pick you up, and get through quick.
That does sound like a plan.
So where are we stowing our twins? Are we going to just leave them tied up in their ship?
And the cargo hold, away from any weapons.
All right.
Don't forget to
You're
remove.
going to need a lot more than that.
Don't forget to remove the other Crumb's custom rig or any tools.
Also, Number can teleport.
Ed shrugs.
Anyway, to keep her sedated.
Well, we'll just use whatever Edwina pumped Crumb and Rick here
Keep her
with.
sedated and separate. Yeah, sedated and separate from everybody else, so that way they can't wake her.
Yeah, if she's in a bit of a stupor, I don't think she'll be doing much. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
All right. She looks at it. She says, "All right. Well, I mean, as long as we don't cause any big problems on our approach, should be all right. It's an armed station, but I mean, we're not going to be coming and shooting at it. Maybe a hot pickup, though." It's all right. I'll be able to see what the girl can do. She starts looking at the pilot and controls. Bob hops over to one of the side consoles and starts familiarizing himself with some of the engineering stuff. Says, "We'll have to make sure we're all set here, Rick. You head down to engineering with Zev, make sure the engines are all ready." And
So we've decided to take our ship then.
well, I presume you guys were taking their ship to the station and having your guys come pick you up in your ship. Which is what I understood. But yeah, it's going to take you guys a week to get there. Is there anything you wish to do in the meantime? Ed says that Edwina had enough stock of her extract that they can probably keep. You guys can probably keep their Umbra in enough of a stupor that she's not going to be able to cause any problems.
Sounds horrible.
Not particularly nice, but it's
Better
best
what
we've
you
got.
can
We
do when
always
she's
don't
not
wanna
in her
risk
stupor.
her trying to free her buddies and take over one of the ships. Unless you guys have other suggestions.
Have we tested the capabilities of both ships' drives in order for us to get back home when we find out how to do that?
No, you're not exactly sure how it got you here. You guys
Okay.
don't really know entirely how your engine works yet. It's only been about a day and a half, I guess.
And spend some time trying to study that up.
Yep, you guys can certainly do that.
Then Crumb will head over down back to the engineering or the engine bay just to observe, see what he can learn.
Okay. So tech boys start working on that stuff. What is Umbra gonna do for the week?
I'd be inclined to try and convince the NPCs to not be assholes, although they don't seem inclined to care.
The only one of them that gave you any impression that that they weren't just willing to outright murder you guys wholesale might have been the other version of you. Edwina seems to very much be a homicidal maniac. Manipulative. Over the course of the week, you figured that out about her very quickly. Flair is similar to your Flair, but again, a little bit. He's always trying to find a way to get one over to try and get free. Their reptile is, well, he's your reptile. He's chaotic. He's prone to outbursts of rage and anger and mania, and he's a little bit on the out there nuts side of things. Their crumb is devious and foul. Is probably the best words to describe him. Whereas Umbra seems to be it's almost like she's given up. She doesn't seem to engage with the others of her crew very much.
Unfortunately, she's the one I can't talk to because she will just try to space us again.
Maybe not. You never know.
I'm not opposed to trying to talk to her, but it's probably too much risk for the rest of the crew.
I mean, if you think that you may have some success, then it's worth giving it a shot, but only if you feel that you can do it.
No idea. When I was speaking to her before, I thought I was getting through to her, but then she just tossed me out. So I don't know. I can't get a read of her.
And I don't think you're getting anything useful out of the other me. He just seems just like cackle.
So I guess we leave her sedated then.
What was that?
Relieve or sedated. Like in a super.
I'm sorry, I can't understand anything you're saying. It keeps cutting off the beginning and end.
Oh, he was just.
What I was saying is, should we leave her? Should we leave her sedated, or should we um, at least make the attempt?
I suppose that is up to all of you currently. I don't mind attempting again.
Hey, I'm open to trying.
She might try to kill me. Who knows?
All right, if you're up to it, then I say let's do it. You'll need backup, of course.
Not really. I mean, if she wants to shadow step me out of the ship again, there's nothing you can do to stop that.
Are we,
Okay.
since the drift is still broken on this end, or are we just traveling normal space?
Drift is still down. You no longer have drift engine anyway. You have something completely different. All right, well, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break at this point, and we'll come back in 10 with some conversation. So we'll see you in 10 minutes, folks. Unfortunately, Jonas appears to be having some problems, so he won't be able to get in with us tonight. So hopefully he will be able to join us in a couple of weeks for the next session.
I am trying to figure out the languages in this game. There's not like I cannot find just a list of languages on archives.
Oh, trying to remember where it is on there. It's in there somewhere. Languages. So if you search languages and click on the first one that comes up under rules, it's in the races section, but it has the most common ones in the Pact worlds, and then
Ah,
other
okay.
languages. And I will see if I can quickly find out if there is a specific language spoken in the Shadow Plane.
I'm pretty sure it's still Shadow Tongue.
Probably.
Might not be called the same thing here.
Let's see if it'll tell me with the Velstrak. Excuse me.
Oh, that's fine. That's not what I'm looking for currently. Just looking for Pact World languages.
Oh.
So we've got a couple more. I went with the mediator archetype, which
Oh, there you
gives me some additional languages.
go. Perfect.
presume Monaceta is a Lashunta.
She is.
So here.
Zev and Navra are humans, and Cobalt is a Phantomite. Least if people ever actually watch the or listen to the podcast in full for the adventure path, they'll understand that our game is just like theirs. Nobody makes it to every session.
Yep.
Makes it feel like a real role-playing game.
Okay, I think I've finished every decision I need to make.
All right. gives us 10 minutes. Hopefully all three of us are here. And we'll go from here.
Yep.
Excellent. So, how would you like to go about questioning your other half, Umbra?
Oh, let's just start with greeting her and seeing how she feels. See if she wants to chat. Or if she wants to try and throw me out an airlock.
She looks up at you from where you guys have her tied up. Whereabouts are you guys going to do the questioning?
I mean, we got plenty of spare rooms, right?
Yep.
We can use one of those.
Maybe a warm beverage too. It's a peace offering.
Sure, I'll have some water.
All right. She looks up at you. You can see a little bit of defiance in her gaze, but you're not entirely sure if it might just be for show and out of reflex. But she looks up at you and says, "What? Here to mock me?
Nope.
Here to gloat?"
Maybe a little. You did opt to throw me outside the ship. Didn't stick. Let's not do that again, though.
She snorts. I'm surprised it worked.
Well, you have more experience than I do with some things, and I have more experience than you do with other things.
No.
Contrary to visual appearance, we are different people.
Contrary to what you think, we're more alike than you want to admit. It shouldn't have worked. See, it only works for me. That's why I had to try and drag Nefia through your ship. I couldn't have just jumped her. So maybe we are more alike than you want to admit, she says, leaning forward a little bit.
Perhaps not. I mean, DNA is the same.
So if you're not here to gloat more than a little bit, what do you want? You've got our ship.
Okay, I'm back.
We do have a ship, but eventually we're gonna go our way, and you're gonna have to go your way, and I don't know. I just kind of want to make sure that you're okay. But also, we have this little thing at the lab / station. We need to get the information. Your people, well, the other ones, seemed quite content to murder the rest of us and or capture us and make us lab rats or whatever.
Yeah, well, you do what you can to make ends meet here.
Yeah, your motives are a little bit different, though.
She glances past you towards the door.
You
Your world really
could
is
do
different.
us some little bit of good. You could help Nefia by helping us all get back home. Well, we need to get into this station and get some information.
And
And well, you're obviously quite talented towards that sort of objective. We could use the assistance. If you can be trusted.
what's your plan? What's in it
That
for
we're
me?
still formulating. At current, we understand that your ship had sent the station a signal, that you're bringing in some specimens. At present, we are headed that way to effectively carry out that cover so that we can make contact with a particular doctor and gain the research information we need.
Dr. Vix.
That is the one.
What's in it for me?
What would help you out?
Tell me about your world. Your universe. It's different
Sure.
in here. You're softer, weaker,
It has.
trusting.
I assure you, the world is not any softer. I just come from a softer side of it. It has its hard points, but I will proceed to elaborate about what she can, her own experiences.
She listens. Asks the odd question about things that are different. Nods here and there as if she's kind of putting some things together about the differences. And I will get you to make me a diplomacy check.
Sure. And fancy new ability. When I attempt a diplomacy check to change a creature's attitude, well, hopefully I don't fail, but if I fail, the possibility of the attitude worsening decreases.
Okay.
Anyway, diplomacy.
You sit and talk about what life is like in your world. And she listens very intently. And she eventually kind of sits back. Says you beat back the swarm.
Indeed.
You made allies of the Vesk.
That is true.
And you get to make music. She She sits for a few minutes, ruminates. And you'll just let the others go.
Not interested in killing anyone.
Your world is very different.
It has its similarities. Like you and I, we're same but different.
Take me with you. That's my price.
Oh, say that again?
Take me with you. That's my price.
Space-time willing? Sounds fine with me.
Then I'll help.
What instrument does she play?
I don't know, bass guitar?
She
Invite her onto
snorts.
the band.
Says lead, thank you.
We'll work on that part. Having two lead guitars is a little weird.
She looks back, says, "Oh, trust me. I think you can learn a thing or two."
Quite possibly.
So, what's the plan?
Well, as I understand from the others, the idea is to have you and your group as the decoy specimens while we research the information from the doctor. That said, the my team needs to be able to pass themselves off as your team, and your team, former team, your crew needs to be able to pass themselves off as an abnormal quantum signal.
You got a medical bay? Tech bay? Could probably, work that if you've got a doctor.
We do have a doctor.
Alright.
That's probably a bit more than I was thinking of, but that's also probably a fine alternative.
Maybe if we just switch clothes, our clothes are quantum whatever, right?
Yes. Yes, they won't be checking your clothes, though. They'll be scanning you. It'll be a medical scanner. But Nefia should have an idea of exactly what that will be looking at, and between you and I and your doctor, I'm sure we could come up with something to adjust things, at least temporarily. It won't last long.
That sounds suitable enough.
take us a few days, but I'm sure between the group of us we can work something.
Like, imagine she relays this to the rest of the crew, and Crumb just grumbles, "I'm not going to have to grease up my fur, am I?"
Indeed.
She looks at you and says, "Oh, you look so soft." But yes, you are nowhere near greasy enough. I don't go in his quarters. I'm not sure how he does it. You will have to explore that yourself.
Oh, that sounds like a fun field trip.
All right, I guess Crumb will just mosey on over to. Our ships are still linked, yes?
Yeah, at the moment you guys are still hanging in orbit over the North Pole. Sorry, Vecton. Sorry, Vesk 4. Or sorry, Golarion 4.
Guess I just start slicking my fur with grease and oil.
All right.
Or whatever you find in the room.
It is.
I'll try and use like fresh grease or whatever, not used stuff, just to mimic the look, but a little bit cleaner.
All right. Sounds good. You start working on that. You've still got a week to go, but you're a method actor. You're getting a character. He says, "Oh man," Rick says, "Dude, I'll give you a hand," and wanders that way to come help you out, and you explore his quarters, and they are unpleasant, to say the least. You don't think they've been cleaned, ever, by anyone. And I mean, this was a pleasure yacht at one point. His quarters look like you are in the bowels of the Nostromo. There's things dripping from the ceiling here and there, condensation on the walls.
I'm just a muttering to myself, what is this? I know I'm a grease monkey, but I'm not this bad of a grease monkey.
And you very quickly find yourself with Rick's assistance, greased up and looking much more sleazy than you normally look, much more cringy and gross. You are sure Z will not want to be in the same room with you. She looked very, very disturbed by your descriptions of the other crumb, and her reaction when she saw the other crumb during once you guys had captured them was quite epic. You were quite impressed with how disgusted she was. Umbra, the Dark Umbra, says Nefia knows Dr. Vex. I presume your Nefia will know him.
Yes.
Don't bring her aboard. He'll know something's wrong.
Sounds reasonable.
Encho Winters is the name of the knight in charge of security for the station. He will likely be the one to meet us at the docking bay, or meet you at the docking bay.
Sounds
What
good.
exactly are you going to want me to do?
As you will be our insider, basically make sure that the specimens are taken care of. No one gets hurt. Get everyone out.
All right.
Just Crumb is just once again just grumbling like just this just feels awful. How did Sal live like this? You just
I,
hear me grumbling in the corner, just muttering just constantly about it.
While you're at that, why don't you give Sal a bath?
Just throw him in the tub of degreaser. That'll do it.
oh, that will drive him crazy. I presume you are going to have the rest of them sedated in some way, shape, or form.
They'll have to be to a degree, yeah.
Suppose I can pretend that easily enough.
I think Sal I've only ever heard him just laugh and cackle in the vents as far as I've known him.
Yeah, you don't want to hear him talking too terribly much. It doesn't sound much different, to be honest. We try to leave him alone, so he doesn't really talk a lot to us. We don't talk a lot to him. He's a little... Well, his appearance says it all. Let's just put it that way. I stay away from him. So does Edwina. Usually.
Okay, you can hear me, right? My connection just dropped for a second there.
Yep, no,
Yep.
you're good. Oh,
Okay, as everyone's getting ready, I'm just gonna familiarize myself with this weapon, this experimental grenade launcher or whatever. Is it like a single shot or is it like does it have a mag to it?
it holds 12 grenades. And they're designed in such a way that a commercial one would only hold 6. But he's got his rigged up with a double barrel of canisters for the grenades. But normally they'll hold 6, and you can fire. It can be a mixture of grenades. You can fire them in whatever order you want. His holds 12. You can fire them in any order you want. You can do
And
single shot or 2 shots in a round if you want with full attack.
yeah, I'm looking at it. It says a heavy weapon. Does that give me like disadvantage since I'm only small arms?
No. Because of the fancy experimental weapon mechanic he and you are considered proficient with it. And when you get your weapon specialization, you'll get your specialization bonus. I'm going to have to double check. That might not affect grenades, though. But so you still get your proficiency bonus with it, even though it's a heavy weapon. But you are the only
Sweet.
one that can use it.
Sweet.
It does not function for anybody else. All right, so over the next week, you guys discuss your plans, keep the other guys tied up and restrained, and slowly make your way through the intervening space towards Yox on the other side of the Diaspora. And you are about 4 days into your journey. Bob has managed to rig up your arm Achilles with the spring-mounted Manica weapon thing. I'll get that attached to your character sheet here in a bit. So you
Thank
have
you.
a hidden weapon that you can use to clobber people with. It'll have some limits to it. You won't be able to use it to make full attacks. You'll only be able to make one attack around with it, but it's got a couple other properties. If you hit somebody with it,
Can I trick shot off of that?
you can. Um,
Okay.
it's a weird alternate universe thing. This kind of thing doesn't exist in your guys' universe, so you'll have something funky. But it's an unwieldy weapon, so you can only make one attack around with it. However, it's also got the block property, so if you hit somebody with it, you get a bonus to your armor class against them if they attack you before your next round. All right. Yes, you guys are about 4 days into your trip. You're passing through a section of the Diaspora when your comm screen lights up with a hail from a Veskarium outpost. And you hear a Veskarian or a Vesk voice come over the comm, speaking in Vesk. For those of you that understand it, I know some of you do.
Yep.
Says,
Wouldn't Skittermander just like natively speak it?
have you chosen your languages yet?
Not sure.
Let me take a quick look.
I don't think
It
so.
would not be an odd. No, you still have two to choose from, and Vesk would not be odd because the Veskarium rules your people or your planet. There we go. So we'll give you Vesk. And you still have one language to choose from. Says, unknown vessel, identify yourselves. What is your cargo and destination?
Who's our pilot?
Normally Flair. He's sitting in a pilot's chair. So, somebody talking?
I'm still in the engine room, just even still trying to make heads or tails of this new engine. So I'll leave that talking to someone else. My charisma is not that great.
I guess I
I don't know if I
will.
should talk. I'm technically a prisoner.
Yeah, I will chat in Vesk. I don't know what to say about our cargo. We don't have a cargo per se. So I guess I'll just say this is the
musical
Primarata. We don't currently have a cargo, and we are.
You have all of your cargo for the show.
Oh,
Light rigging and musical instruments and stuff like that. But that's about it.
and what was their third question?
Cargo and destination.
Our destination is Aox, specifically the Knights of Golarion Station.
Arazni Station.
Arazni Station.
You can see him tap a couple of commands into his console. And he looks like he's looking at a scan as it's coming up. Who are you again?
The Primarata. Also accompanied by the Murata. since there would be 2 ships here.
Make me a diplomacy check.
Sure.
He taps a few more commands in. Scan.
We did encounter just outside the orbit of Vex 4, we encountered a whatever that alien ship is.
The Aslanti ship.
We encountered and destroyed an Aslanti ship.
Damn raiders. We shouldn't have any more trouble with them for a while. All this drift nonsense going on. Good.
Yes,
I presume
indeed.
it was reported to proper channels. Very well. Carry on. Scan's confirmed. And he roughly
Much appreciated.
cuts off the communication, and you can see the station kind of drifting off a goodly distance off to one side, attached to one of the asteroids in the diaspora as you guys cruise on past. And that's about the only excitement you guys get in your trip. You pick up the odd distress call from ships throughout the packed worlds as ships limp out of the drift over the next day or so. And I mean, you've been listening to that ever since you got here, ever since you left Akaton. And on the 7th day, you start approaching Eox, and Eox does not look like the Eox of your world. It is not a dead planet with a crater in it. It is 3/3 of a dead planet that looks like it was shattered. There are clumps of the planet and clumps of rock still kind of held together by the gravity of the weight of the huge chunks of the planet. But the core of the planet looks like it has smoldered down to just glowing embers amongst the ruins of the shattered planet.
Any signs of life or unlife on there?
You looking at the planet as it kind of, the remains of the planet as it spins around, you pick out where you're pretty sure the halls of the living were, and there is a huge crater that looks like it probably took out most of the halls of the living, among various other craters scattered across the remnants of the shell of the planet. But
I will
it
ask
looks like
Numbra about that later.
it looks like it was the target of a single reactor ignition attack from a Death Star. Just chunks of huge chunks of planet floating in space,
Mm-hmm.
still in orbit. And as you guys approach the station, Z in the other ship, in your guy's ship, says, we'll hang back here. And as you guys get closer, and you let us know when you need us, and we'll just come barging on in.
Sounds good.
And you see the Primarata drop behind you as you guide your old ship, the Murata, in, with the evil twins tied up in the cargo hold. And as you approach, you are hailed by Arazni Station Communications. It says, "This is Arazni Station. Please identify yourselves."
Murata, we have a meeting with Rashi Winters. Was that it?
Encho Winters and Arceel Vix. He, there's a brief pause, and he says, "Meeting confirmed. Please proceed to Docking Bay 3. It's at the base of the main tower. We'll light it up for you." And as you approach, as the station kind of spins around, you can see one of the landing bays lights start flashing. You can see the outline of the force field covered entrance light up, and you guys, Flair pulls your craft in expertly, and you guys drop down onto the landing bay. There is an elevator, probably about 100 feet or so from where you guys land. And as you guys are lowering your cargo ramp and making your way out of the ship, you see the elevator on the far side of the bay open up, and a trio of tall, broad-shouldered, seemingly well-muscled gentlemen in spacesuits that look very much like suits of armor, suits of plate mail. Two of them have shields strapped to their, high-tech shields strapped to their arms. They've got swords strapped to their waists, and I believe they have rifles slung as well.
Oh, very quaint.
One brief moment. No, just pistols. Sidearm pistols. And they approach you guys. The fellow in the lead has red-plated armor, with gold highlights around the edges of the plates and stuff, whereas the other guys have more kind of a darkened blackened steel with red outlining along it. And the fellow in the lead walks up. The other two guys stop behind him a couple of paces. He looks over the group of you. Ed is standing behind the reptile, glancing back at Edwina on the or back towards the ship where you guys have people tied up. And the knight looks at you, or at the group of you. Says, "So, you're the ones who captured the interlopers. Where are they?"
In the hold.
"Well, bring them out. Expect us to do your work for you."
Very well. They are heavy.
He quirks an eyebrow, looks up at the reptile. Says, surely your friend here can drag them in. You can see a certain amount of contempt in his eyes for your Vesk comrade. Reptile doesn't seem to think anything of it. And
Sure. Take who you can. Retrieve the prisoners.
he shrugs and turns around. Almost trips over Ed, who scurries in front of him, trying to stay out of sight of the knights. And anybody else joining him to go in and give a hand? Flair is kind of looking at the group of you because everybody except for Crumb is taller than him.
Yeah, just Crumb just sits there like I've been practicing his laugh, like just just cackling to himself, stroking his grenade launcher.
A sound that seems to grate on the ears of the Knights of Golarion just as much as it grates on the ears of everyone else in the galaxy. And Reptile starts dragging people out. He starts with the Reptile, and by the time he's got the other Flair and the other Crumb dropped down from one hand, and Edwina dropped with the other hand. The knight in charge glances to one of the other guys and jerks his head towards the growing pile of unconscious prisoners. He says, "Give him a scan." The other fellow pulls looks like a medical scanner out of his belt and walks over, starts scanning the bodies and or the people, and the guy in charge looks at you and says, "So, what happened? Where did you encounter them?"
Just outside orbit of Vesk 4.
And you say they appeared after the problems with the drift began?
That sounds about right.
He looks at the pile as Reptile deposits Umbra, and heads back in to get their version of Achilles. He looks at the various different, kind of glancing between people. Says they certainly look like twins. I can see where you'd think they'd be from another reality.
Totally.
The knight scanning them looks up from his scan, and he says, "Looks that way, sir. The scan does not have the usual properties. It looks like it." Ancho nods. Says, "How many more are there?" And Reptile is just bringing their Achilles out and deposits him. Is this all of them?
I'll list the number of them.
He walks over, looks down at the group of them. Good. You two, tell them to prepare for this in reanimation. Reaches down, pulls out his sidearm, racks the slide on it, levels the gun at the little crumb on the ground, glances at you, Crumb, and puts a bullet in the head of the alternate Crumb. And then points the bullet at the alternate, or his gun at the alternate flare.
Oh, there. What are you doing?
They'll tell us what we need once we've reanimated them.
That just seems like
Yeah.
extra steps. You can ask the living.
He looks at you and raises an eyebrow. The two knights behind him stiffen. He says, "They're easier to talk to once they've been brought back. There's so much less resistance. Is this a problem?"
Crumb just cackles again, just laughing to himself.
It's an odd choice of. I mean, you're disrupting their quantum signal if you're killing them like that. I'm a witch worker, I know these things. You're better working with them when they're alive instead of mindless zombies.
He raises an eyebrow just that little bit further. I'll get you to make me a bluff check.
Sure. And by giving you a bluff check, I'm actually going to give you a diplomacy check.
Okay.
Because that's a thing I can do.
Excellent. Even better.
Except that's a terrible roll.
That is
I suppose the system has a way to re-roll a thing.
he narrows his eyes a little bit as he looks at you. Looks down at the others. And back up at you. Give me a brief moment here. Looks back at the other knights. Says, "All right." Holsters his pistol. Tosh, Gavel, escort these folks up to level 12. The doctor will want to examine the specimens. And the two knights with him nod and head over to grab a couple of the, they grab, well, one of them grabs the now deceased Crumb by a foot and Flare by the scruff of the neck. And the other guy grabs Edwina and Umbra, and Encho points at Raptile and says, "Get the other one," and points a finger at you two, Achilles. Says, "You might as well grab your partner too." and gestures for the group of you towards the elevator.
Sounds good.
Okay.
In a terrible foreboding way, but whatever. Sounds good.
All right, and you guys heft up these people and make your way towards the elevator, and all cluster in. It is a very tight fit, and as the doors close on the elevator, we'll call it a night. Thank you for
Sounds good.
joining us, everybody. Hopefully, everybody has enjoyed the night's adventures with the Drifters. If you're interested in this kind of content, please give the channel a follow, the video a like, make some comments, do all the things that make people see a little bit more of the Starfinder universe. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, other me. Hardly
Good night.
knew ya.